Talk right here and YouTube, Facebook. Shout out to all of you. Sorry we're late. It's been a morning. Hopefully y'all are still around. Let's Robert Woods, Josh Reynolds. I think you go Josh Reynolds on that one. No Amon Ra, no Jameer Gibbs. Damian Pierce, Sam Laporta. I would go Sam Laporta on that one. Cortland Sutton, Romeo Dobbs. You can go Romeo Dobbs. I don't trust Cortland Sutton against the Jets secondary. Chuba Hubbard or Jaleel McLaughlin. I think probably McLaughlin, honestly. I don't think Hubbard has the. I know Sanders isn't healthy, but I don't think it's the game to start Chuba Hubbard, especially going against Detroit. And Detroit's been very, very good against the run so far. Tyler Boyd, Michael Wilson. I think you can go Tyler Boyd on that one. I know Joe Burrow isn't healthy, but I don't think we can. I know Michael Wilson just had a great week. I think if there's a guy that's going to get more looks, it's Tyler Boyd over Michael Wilson. Keep starting Kittle. This week depends on who's available. Kittle just does not have that big of a role for fantasy when both Debo, when CMC, Kittle, Debo, and Ayuk are all healthy, Kittle just doesn't have the same kind of role. So, excuse me. A-Rich or Tua, you can't really go wrong. I would go A-Rich on that one, though. Sorry, hello. Hello. I would go Anthony Richardson on that one. Tua, I think they're playing the rain today. I think it's a rain game. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think Richardson, just based on the rushing upside. Thielen or Addison, you could go Adam Thielen on that one. I feel like Addison is more of a dart throw this week than he is like a solid option. I think there's a lot of things that need to go right for Addison. Ayuk or Olave, you can go Brandon Ayuk on that one. Let's take one last look at scores and whatnot. Or at least weather updates, because those are important. Mahomes or Tua, you go Patrick Mahomes. Look, skull all day long. Okay, but Mahomes should not be on your bench this week. Hurts or Love, Jalen Hurts still. Love or Lamar, probably Lamar still, but Love isn't a bad option either. Over to Facebook and YouTube. Shout out to all of you guys. All 53 of you. Shout out to you. Let's start. Let's start with that one. Mostert or Achane. You can't go wrong with either of them. You cannot go wrong. Oh, it is sunny in Miami. I thought it was going to rain. Okay, well, anyway. Go with either, honestly. I mean, both have the same kind of rushing upside, or I should say touchdown upside, receiving upside, all that sort. They are the same. This one, Brandon Ayuk or Jalen Waddle. I am going to go Brandon Ayuk on this one. This is a Brandon Ayuk matchup. Dallas runs a ton of man coverage. Brandon Ayuk is the man coverage killer for them. So that's a easy Ayuk for me. Keith says Thielen or CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb still. I know it's San Francisco, but the Cowboys offense, and specifically the passing offense, is going to start stepping up now, because they will not be winning games by an average margin of 30 points. TikTok, Breece Hall, Nico Collins. I think you go Nico Collins on that one. Hollywood or D-Hop. I think you go D-Hop. It's close, but I think you go D-Hop, just because I think I feel like Hollywood could have that like 5 for 60 stat line. I think Hopkins has the better upside. Facebook and YouTube, Bobby Trees, Odell, or Cortland Sutton. That sounds like it's a deeper league. I'm going to go Bobby Trees on that one. I don't trust Odell just yet. We haven't seen the full passing attack from the Ravens just yet. Cortland Sutton against the Jets, I just don't trust. So I'm going to go Bobby Trees. That's a little bit of that's kind of weird now that I'm saying it, but I still stick Bobby Trees. Josh Dobbs, Joe Burrow. You were going to go Josh Dobbs. Joe Burrow cannot be started at this point because it's not good. It's not good enough to be in your starting spots. Tank Dell or Rashee Rice over on TikTok. We're going to go Tank Dell on that one. Zach Moss or Jalen Warren. You're going to go Jalen Warren. I know that JT is on a snap count, but it's Tennessee. It's Tennessee. I would not go Zach Moss there. Kamara, Mostert, or Collins at the flex. I think it's between. I mean, if we're gonna shoot upside, I go with Mostert. But I think if you're looking for a steady point total this week, I think you go Alvin Kamara on that one. Aaron Jones or Gus Edwards. You're going to go Aaron Jones still on that one, but Gus Edwards is kind of the deep. Gus Edwards may not be one of your top 2 running backs this week, but if you've got him as a flex and you're not really sure on your other receivers, like you've got a Drake London, a George Pickens, or Gus Edwards, I would go Gus Edwards. That's the thought process with Gus Edwards. Hayden Hurst, Mark Andrews, you still go Mark Andrews. Over to TikTok or to Facebook, YouTube, Matt Breida, Ty J. Spears, Cam Akers, Kenny Gainwell. You're going to go Matt Breida on that one. No Saquon. That one's a pretty straightforward one. Chuba Hubbard, Jalen Warren, Matt Breida. I think you go Matt Breida, then you go Jalen Warren, and then Chuba Hubbard. Let's see. What about Samaje Perine? Samaje Perine, I can't really trust. I think Javonte is healthy. I'm going to confirm that because if Javonte's healthy, I'm not. That's a game time decision. And they play this afternoon. I wouldn't start Samaje Perine this week. I wouldn't. I just don't. I don't trust this Broncos run game against the Jets. I know the Jets just got ran over by the Chiefs. Supposedly, like I went back and forth with people on Twitter about it because they really didn't. They gave up a 40-yard run to Pacheco. Yes, that's bad, but that was one play. And the rest of the game, Pacheco just averaged 3.5 yards a carry. Like it wasn't great. So I'm not a huge Perine fan this week. How do you feel about Taylor? That's a great question. If you are a Jonathan Taylor manager, this is not the week to play him on a snap count going up against Tennessee. That's just not a recipe for success in my book. And if Josh Jacobs taught us anything, it takes a while. It takes a while for a running back that has missed significant amount of time in the early portion of the season to get acclimated, to remember cuts, lanes, holes, all that kind of stuff. Like it takes them a while to get back to it. So Jonathan Taylor, give it a week or two, maybe a nice little buy low candidate. That's what I think. TikTok, Joe Burrow or Brock Purdy. This one, you're going to go Brock Purdy. Joe Burrow, there are very few players that would not get the nod over Joe Burrow this week. Again, just that injury is severely impacting everyone on the Bengals, and including himself. Brock Purdy on that one. I know it's a tough matchup against Dallas, but I'm going to take Brock Purdy with Kyle Shanahan than a 80% Joe Burrow, if that makes sense. Honestly, I'm stuck since Barkley is out. Should I start Tyler Algier, Samaje Perine? That one, you're going to go Tyler Algier. I think there is some intrigue for Tyler Algier this week just because it's Houston and they just do not do great against the run. Puka or Ayuk? You're going to go Brandon Ayuk. Puka is still going to do well this week, but Brandon Ayuk just has a higher upside. Dobbs or Stafford? Josh Dobbs, in my opinion. Facebook and YouTube. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Michael Pittman, Nico Collins need two. My opinion, Cooper Kupp and Michael Pittman. Those are the two in my book. After that, it then goes Nico Collins and Puka. They're great. All four are great options, but I think the two that you need, Michael Pittman and Cooper Kupp, are the guys to go with. I'm I'm going to assume, Nate, you meant Waller or Hurst. I'm going to go Darren Waller on that one. It's close. It's closer than people think. Start McLaughlin or Matt Breida over on TikTok. You're going to start Matt Breida. I just don't think this is the week for Jaleel McLaughlin and Samaje Perine to be in your lineups. This isn't the week for it. And even I know if Javonte is out, there's more opportunity. But again, this Jets defense is better than people think. Everyone's reacting based on Isaiah Pacheco just torching them for, 115 yards when 48 of them came on one play. We gotta tamper expectations a bit. Mahomes or Love? Mahomes. Rashid Shaheed or Kadarius Toney. I think you go Kadarius Toney. I think you can shoot upside with Kadarius Toney in that situation because Kansas City could put up a lot of points. And for all we know, Kadarius Toney could find the end zone. I don't think Rashid Shaheed with a busted Derek Carr shoulder has the same kind of intrigue. I saw a question on TikTok. Why start Gus Edwards? Gus Edwards goes up against Pittsburgh in a smash mouth football game. He doesn't really have the most receiving upside per se, but Baltimore's going to run the ball. They are. And Pittsburgh's defense has not been great against the run this year. I think I like the matchup. That's really what it is. YouTube and Facebook, Jordan Love or CJ Stroud. I'm going to go Jordan Love on that one. That one's really a coin flip. It can be a coin flip, but I go Jordan Love. I think he's got the better matchup. CJ Stroud against Atlanta. I could very well see that Houston-Atlanta game where it very much becomes what Atlanta-Carolina was, where like Atlanta can just control the clock, run the ball whenever they want, and their defense steps up and stuff like that. I would go with Jordan Love on that one. CD Productions, Save Flowers, Michael Thomas in the flex. I think you go Zay Flowers in that one. Again, I just do not trust Derek Carr. I don't, not at all. I don't know if it's exactly the right matchup for Zay Flowers. I know, again, Pittsburgh's secondary has not been great too, but Baltimore's offense is very different in how they attack on how they attack man coverage than they do in zone. And we've seen Zay do well against zone. We haven't seen it against man, but I think you feel better starting Zay Flowers than you do Michael Thomas. TikTok, 49ers defense or Titans defense. Oof. I think you can go 49ers defense still. That was just tough, but I just trust the better unit, in my opinion. Just trust the better unit. Facebook, YouTube, Michael Wilson, Brandon Ayuk. You're going to Brandon Ayuk on that one for sure. Puka or Alvin Kamara, in my opinion, you go Alvin Kamara on that one, just barely. I think it's still close. But with Cooper Kupp back, we probably need to see a week before we can confidently say taking a guy like Puka over a guy like Alvin Kamara, if that makes sense. Eli over on Facebook and YouTube. Dedicated. I remember you from last week, Eli. Marquise Brown, Romeo Doubs. You can go Marquise Brown on that one. I need to see a week from Packers wide receivers now that Christian Watson is probably going to be on a full snap count. Exactly how that's going to work out. So I would go Marquise Brown on that one. Matt Breida, Miles Sanders. You're going to go Matt Breida on that one. Sounds wrong, but it is like Sanders just is not healthy. It has a bad matchup. Bad matchup. Matt Breida. That's my answer. TikTok, Josh Reynolds, George Pickens. I'm going to go Josh Reynolds on that one. I don't try like Kenny Pickett. I'm losing faith on Kenny Pickett when it comes to fantasy. Nico Collins, Debo Samuel. I would say I would say Nico. Yeah, Nico. Um, Cax, thanks for the rose. Where's your there? I saw it. Ayuk or Jalen Waddle. Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk on that one. Thanks for the rose again. Much appreciated. JT or Collins, you're still gonna go Nico Collins. JT is on a snap count, so it's not gonna be full on Jonathan Taylor just yet. It's gonna be a couple weeks. Puka or Olave or Ayuk, and you pick two. I'm gonna go with Puka and Brandon Ayuk. I just cannot trust any Saints player besides Alvin Kamara when Derek Carr is dealing with his shoulder injury. It is crazy to me that the Saints are still going to keep playing him. Last week, you could see it. I tweeted it out. There were two clips, back-to-back plays to Chris Olave, where Olave is running a slot fade down the sideline, and the safety is late in noticing it, and he's got acres of space. So all that Carr needs to do is just air it out and lead him into the end zone. And instead, he ropes it. He ropes it to Olave, and he undershoots him. If his shoulder is feeling okay, he makes that throw in the air to the end zone. But because he doesn't trust his shoulder, he feels like he's just got to get it to his guy. That's not a good thing. Then the very next play, it's another slot streak from Chris Olave down the middle where he splits the safeties, and he's got two steps on the safeties, and Carr realizes it, and he does give it a shot, but he puts too much air under it. And he does that because he's compensating for his shoulder. If you know what throwing a football looks like down or feels like downfield and you're feeling shoulder pain, you put more air under it because you're compensating for it. Derek Carr is not healthy. So it's as crazy as it sounds to go Puka over Chris Olave, especially with Cooper Kupp coming back. I still trust Puka that he's going to do better than Chris Olave because Derek Carr is just not healthy, and it's going to hurt Saints players moving forward. Over to Facebook and YouTube, Matt Breida or Puka Nacua at the flex. Based on what I had just said, I'm going to go Puka Nacua on that one. He's still going to produce. Matt Stafford is going to have his pick of the litter just because he's got two guys that are going to be open pretty much the entire game. I shouldn't say entire game. Got to put some respect on big play Slay, but Elijah, sorry, I'm just getting to your question. Cooper Kupp or Brandon Ayuk? You're going to go Cooper Kupp. TikTok, Debo or Puka? I say Puka on that one. Waddle or Moore? I'm trying to think of which. Oh, Waddle. Duh. Gus Edwards, Marquise Brown. You probably go Marquise Brown. That's probably a flex question. I'd just go the volume, I guess, or the receiving volume that he can get. Eli over on Facebook and YouTube. Jonathan Taylor, and I should say YouTube because I can see if it's YouTube or Facebook, but Eli on YouTube. Jonathan Taylor, Gus Edwards. I'm going to go Gus Edwards. Sounds crazy, but again, I against Tennessee on a snap count from Jonathan Taylor, I go with Gus Edwards. TikTok, Hall or Judy, you can go Breece Hall on that one. Jerry Judy. This passing offense from Denver is suspect, to say the least. Laporta or Jacoby Myers at the flex? I think you go Jacoby Myers. I think Laporta is going to give you 9 at least, but I think Myers can give you 13, if that makes sense. I should say at least 13. Green Bay plays a ton of zone. Jimmy trusts Jacoby Myers. I would go Jacoby Myers. Jordan Love or Kirk Cousins? I think you go if you think I'm going to go Jordan Love on that one. It's close. That's really a coin flip, but I go Jordan Love on that one. Burrow or Dobbs? You're going to go Josh Dobbs on that one. Over to YouTube, Joe Burrow or CJ Stroud? CJ Stroud. Again, there are 3 quarterbacks I do not trust at this moment to help provide their weapons with fantasy production. Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Kenny Pickett. All because they're really, I mean, they're mainly injured. That's really why. But like we could throw in like Desmond Ritter because he just is garbage. I just don't trust those guys. I really, really don't. A little trade talk. How about this from YouTube? Did I win this trade last week? I got Tyreek and Njoku. He got Kelsey. I think it's great getting Tyreek, but I don't know if Njoku. Well, who's then your starting tight end after that? Because if you've got like a Sam Laporta, or if you have I'm trying to think of Evan Ingram. If you got like an Evan Ingram, oh, then you're totally fine. Eli on YouTube again. I have Herbert and Stroud as my quarterbacks. Good decision or drop one. Well, since Herbert's on bye, I think having Stroud as a spot start this week is fine. I think after this week, when Justin Herbert comes back, you drop CJ Stroud. Not because he's bad, but just because Justin Herbert doesn't need to leave your lineup after that. So, TikTok, back to you guys. Mostert, Kyron, or Brees, pick two. I'm gonna go Mostert and Brees Hall. Kyron Williams, not against this Philly run defense. Sorry. And with Cooper Kupp back, I think Kyron Williams' volume takes a hit. James Conner, Adam Thielen, you go James Conner on that one. I could also understand Adam Thielen too, but I think there's more risk with Adam Thielen because that game could very well be like a 40-10 schlacking. Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, go Gus Edwards on that one. Cousins or Stroud today. You can probably go Kirk Cousins on that one. I think if that game is going to be a high-scoring game, I think it makes sense to go with Kirk. YouTube, Jordan, Kyron Williams, James Conner, baby. Big James Conner guy this week. Gibbs is out. He is indeed out. So there is some intrigue for Sam Laporta. There's some intrigue for Josh Reynolds. Waddle, Hopkins, or Puka. Pick one, Nick, on YouTube. I think you can go Jalen Waddle. It's close between him and Puka. Then DeAndre Hopkins follows after, because both of those guys just have upside. So let's see. I saw a Facebook question. Sebastian, shout out to all of you on Facebook. Rashee Rice or Michael Thomas. I think in this one, you go Michael Thomas. I know it, like both are going to be ugly stat lines, and I don't think there's any way that we can predict what is going to be a good week for Rashee Rice with this Chiefs offense, because it's not really just it's not structured again around the receivers. It's structured around Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So I go Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, excuse me, he gave you 9 points last week, 5 catches, 40 yards. I think it was something like that. Like if there's, I would go Michael Thomas over Rashee Rice. Jarrett on YouTube, James Conner, DeAndre Swift, Kyron Williams at the running back 2. I personally, I go James Conner, then DeAndre Swift, Kyron Williams, but I completely understand if you go DeAndre Swift, James Conner, just based on just how DeAndre Swift has looked. I totally get that. TikTok, over to you. Should I start CD or Puka? CeeDee Lamb for sure. Dallas Goedert, George Kittle. You're going to go George Kittle on that one. Both have been pretty disappointing this year so far, but George Kittle at least has done something. There has been really no signs from Dallas Goedert that are encouraging or make you want to put him in your lineup. Jake Ferguson or Zach Ertz. I'm going to go Zach Ertz on that one. Start Debo. Yeah, I mean, Debo has done enough the past couple of weeks. I know he threw up a goose egg, but I have to think that he's got some kind of role today. Tutu, Atwell, Drake London. Unfortunately, I go Drake London. It's going to be ugly. There's just no. There's just I don't know what the role is for Tutu Atwell with Cooper Kupp back. That's really about it. Great question from Tracer Sports. Boom and bust of the week. My boom is David Montgomery. TikTok, you can see him as one of my stars. This matchup is just too good. Too good. Bust of the week. I am going to say, who is someone I don't like? Chris Olave. You still have to start him. But I would say, yeah. Caden, thank you so much for the number 1 badge. What is your question? Let me get your question, or the enjoy music. Sorry, I misread it. Drive your question out and I'll read it out for you. But why start Gus Edwards? This matchup with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has just not been super great against the run this year. And I have to imagine that Baltimore is going to expose that a little bit. There's some touchdown upside for Gus Edwards on the goal line, stuff like that. So, Caden, just saw your question. Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud. I think you go CJ Stroud on that one. Gus or Najee? I think you go Gus Edwards. That sounds so weird. It sounds so weird, but I think you go Gus Edwards. Landon over on YouTube, Hayden Hurst, Adam Thielen, or Cortland Sutton at the flex. I think you go Adam Thielen for that one. Nick, James Conner, or Aaron Jones. You're going to go Aaron Jones on that one. Prospect experience. Alvin Kamara, Kyron Williams. I say Alvin Kamara on that one. TikTok, Kyron or Achan. Devin Achan, baby. Mike Wilson. Michael Thomas or Mike Wilson. Who am I blanking? Am I blanking on that one? Who is Mike Wilson? I don't know. Caden with the fire. Thanks so much. What's your other question? Let me see if I can. If it pops up, I'll read it. Mahomes or Jordan Love? It's Jordan Love. Or sorry, it's Patrick Mahomes. Don't overthink that one. I know I'm saying start him, but don't overthink it. Why Hopkins? Indy's run defense is better than we think. I think this is one where we see DeAndre Hopkins get double-digit targets. If he finds the end zone, awesome. But I'm expecting like 10 from him this week. But he's got upside this week that we have not seen in previous weeks. Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson. You can go Daniel Jones on that one. I'm going to try and trade Stroud next week for a running back. Which running back should I trade for? That's a great question. I think you could probably, honestly, well, probably not, because Jonathan Taylor now has the name value attached to him versus before he signed that extension. Oh, Michael Wilson. That's right. I would go Michael Wilson as a flex over Michael Thomas. But back to that Stroud for running back question. I thought Jonathan Taylor right away because that's a buy low, but he's got the name value now. So you're probably not going to be able to trade for Jonathan Taylor with CJ Stroud at least. So I think if there's a running back, you could go target. That's a great question. Let me do some digging. Let's see. I think you could go trade for a guy like Ramondre Stevenson potentially. I think you could look at him. You could try to go for Breece Hall, honestly. If he disappoints this week, Breece Hall might be the guy. I think those are two ones. Tampa area. Shout out Tampa. Anthony Richardson or Tua Tagovailoa. I am going to go with Anthony Richardson, but there is some intrigue for Tua Tagovailoa because, as you can see on my screen here, if you're on YouTube and Facebook, new customers on Underdog, you get a special free square. Tua Tagovailoa, 0.5 total yards. That's it. He just needs 1 yard and he hits. So all you got to do to access that line, use the code fellas when you sign up, and you'll even get up to $100 in bonus money to play with too. Why not? It's going to hit. It's going to hit. So 1 total yard from Tua. Again, use the code fellas to access that line over on Underdog Fantasy. Now, back to some of your guys to start say questions, because we've got about 15 minutes left, and then I'm going to let you guys go to make the changes in your lineup before 12 o'clock kicks off. Also, I need to be keeping tabs of this Buffalo Jags game because one of my starts via our Twitter, when where me, Lucas, and Cam give our 3 starts of the week. I we give our starts for each position. My wide receiver start was Gabe Davis, who currently sits at 5 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown. Boom! Boom. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Back to start state questions. Let's see. Gavin, Zay Flowers, Romeo Dobbs, full PPR. You can go Zay Flowers on that one. Need to see a week of a fully healthy Christian Watson with this with his Packers passing game. You can still start Jordan Love, but it's the receivers that have a bit of a want to see. Josh over on YouTube, please help Najee or Warren. I'm leaning towards Warren. I'm going to go Warren as well. It's the receiving work. It is the receiving work. Green Spawn, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle. You're going to go George Kittle on that one. Back to Angel Senior Living. Let's go. Raheem Mostert, Najee Harris, Michael Thomas. Which one do we start? Raheem Mostert. We're gonna start Raheem Mostert over the other two. Soybean. Love that name. Some of the names that we find on TikTok, YouTube are just are funny to me. Bijan and Tyree for Jefferson and Cup. Depends on what the running back room looks like after. Nate Presley, Joe Mixon, Matt Breida. Joe Mixon. He is Cameron's start of the week at running back. There is intrigue for Mixon this week. With no T. Higgins, probably some intrigue to get him involved a little bit more. Gabe Davis now up to 6 catches and 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Who said he was going to be a start of the week? Me. I said that. TikTok, over to you. Jameson Williams, Josh Downs. I need a running back and I want to trade DK. Who should I get? Ooh, if you're going to trade DK, I think you could go shoot for you could probably shoot for a Kyron Williams if he disappoints this week. You could shoot for a Joe Mixon, maybe James Conner, maybe one of those guys. Shout out Facebook again, John. What is going on? Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson. Well, Fields already played. Hopefully you started him, but if you didn't, Lamar Jackson is Lamar because Fields already played. But if you started Fields, good for you. Another Facebook question from Ron. Thanks for tuning in. Doesn't matter when you tune in, as long as you tune in. Much appreciated. Thoughts on Taylor today? Heard he's on a snap count and they're going to run him to death to get trade value out of him. Not necessarily anymore. When I say that, I mean they're not going to run him to death. He did just sign a 3-year extension with Indianapolis, which was a shocker yesterday. Had no idea that one was coming. So I don't think Indy is going to run him to the ground necessarily. But he is going to be on a snap count. And that does worry me a little bit because of the matchup, right? Going up against Tennessee that have just shut down pretty much like every running back like so far this year. So the matchup scares me, but then the other part of it too is if Josh Jacobs taught us anything, is that it takes a while for a running back to get up to game speed, to get the chemistry a bit with their offensive line, because like it's a song and dance a little bit between we're running outside zone. We got to find the cut lane or we got to find the cut back, stuff like that. Like the vision has to kind of catch up. It took Josh Jacobs 2 weeks. I kind of expect the same for Jonathan Taylor. So I'm not super comfortable playing him just yet. Probably in a week or two, we can probably start talking about Jonathan Taylor as a starting option. but it is Jonathan Taylor, so it is worth keeping eyes on him because anything can happen with the guy. So, I saw another Facebook. Um, what was it? Where is it? Where did it go? Where'd it go? There it is. John, sorry, Hurts or Lamar? Ha, there, yeah. I Jalen Hurts on that one. Both are solid options. Just go with Jalen Hurts. Um, Angels senior living. Y'all are awesome. Najee Harris or Brian Robinson Jr. Starting roster, which one, by the way, yeah. Robinson, well, he played already on Thursday. So I don't know how that one's going to work, but I guess Najee just because Robinson played. But if you started Robinson, nice job. Well, he didn't really do that. Well, he had the receiving work. So I guess it wasn't super great, but wasn't the worst either. So, TikTok, couple more questions from you guys. Gus Edwards, Marvin Mims. I think you go Gus Edwards on that one. Marvin Mims is just not seeing the snap count at this point. YouTube trade. I get Raheem Mostert. They get Travis Etienne. I say no to that one. I know that Mostert has upside for days, but Etienne will as well. And this Jaguars offense is going to get back on track. So, I would hold on to Etienne at that. So, Tim over on Facebook, full PPR JT or Debo Samuel. Not with the snap count for JT against Tennessee. Not this week. So, we're looking ahead on that. Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, week 6. Let's take a look at the matchups for week 6. I'm my initial lean is to go with Brian Robinson. But let's say the Steelers kind of figure out in the run. Well, actually, Najee's on bye next week. There's our answer. Oh my word. Najee's on bye next week. So you're gonna have to go Brian Robinson no matter what. Sean on YouTube, Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson. Can't go wrong with either. Probably Jalen Hurts, but you can't go wrong with either. Thinking of trading Joe Burrow for someone who should I trade for? I'm 0-4, need help. So my first question is, what do you need? Secondly, it's going to be tough sledding because everyone's noticing Joe Burrow's performance so far. TikTok, one more question, I'll get to you guys. And we go rapid fire. The last 5 minutes. Facebook, Michael Wilson, Michael Thomas. I think you go Michael Wilson on that one. TikTok, over to you guys. Edwards or Sanders? I go Gus Edwards. Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins. You're going to go Kirk Cousins. Sam Laporta, TJ Hawkinson, Puka, or Ayuk. You're going to go Ayuk. Edwards or Sanders? Gus Edwards again. Should I start Romeo Doubs or Nico Collins? You're going to start Nico Collins. Zeke or Cook? Neither. Sorry. Probably Dalvin Cook just because of the matchup. Start Zach Moss in the flex or Adam Thielen. You're going to go Adam Thielen on that one. Collins or Thielen PPR. I think you go Nico Collins on that one. Madison or Gus Bus. I'll go Gus Bus. It's close, but I completely understand if someone wants to go Madison, but I go Gus. Puka or CeeDee Lamb? CeeDee Lamb. Do I keep Miami's defense or pick up the Titans defense? Keep Miami's this week. Why don't you like MT? Because I just don't trust Derek Carr. That shoulder injury is not good. He'll play through it, but it just does not. It caps the ceiling for all Saints players besides Alvin Kamara because they'll just check down in the screen and stuff like that. Should I start Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor? Probably Zach Moss over the two, but it's going to be a tough matchup. I don't really know if you want to start either of them. Facebook, Dakota, Alvin Kamara, Gus Edwards. You're going to go Alvin Kamara on that one. In PPR. If it is standard, then it's close. Yeet. Yeet. Love it. On YouTube, Nico Collins or Adam Thielen, you're going to go Nico Collins on that one. Back to Greenspawn again. Shout out to you guys. Um, sorry, Texans defense or Bengals defense. I think you can go Texans defense. Yeah. Eh, yeah. Go Texans defense on that one. Need 2 starts from Quack Cool Man. Shout out Oregon. Need 2 starts, Kamara, Kyron, Aaron Jones. I say Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara. TikTok, Sutton or Najee. I'm going to say Najee. I'm going to say Najee on that one. Madison or Gus Bus. I'm going to go Gus Bus. But you can go the other way too. It's that's just my preference. That's my preference. Debo or Sutton, you're going to go Debo. Should I start Romeo Dobbs or D Hop? You're going to go D Hop on that one. Chiz over on YouTube, Pickens, Olave, or Garrett Wilson at the wide receiver 2. I think you can go Garrett Wilson, then Chris Olave. That's just how I feel. Dakota on Facebook again. How about Christian McCaffrey or Tony Pollard? Is there a way you can start both? Is there a way you can start both? I know the matchups probably aren't great, but you still have to play them. So, Zay Flowers, Jacoby Myers. I kind of lean Jacoby Myers. It's close. I lean Myers over Zay Flowers. CJ Stroud or Matt Stafford and Flowers or Tank Dell. A little 2-for-1. Who dat nation? A little 2-for-1. As a Saints fan, are you concerned at all about Derek Carr's shoulder injury? I have my concerns. I'm very concerned, but are you concerned? But CJ Stroud over Matt Stafford, and I would go Tank Dell over CJ Stroud. BDZ Productions, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco, Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, and PPR. I will rank those for you. Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, Isaiah Pacheco. Who dat you are so very welcome. You are concerned about, okay, that's good to know. I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy. I'll just say this. I watched the L-22. I watched the film, and it did not look good. That's all I'm going to say. If you want sound fantasy, I shouldn't even say fantasy. If you want sound football advice, because someone watches the film and takes, the important points away from each game, hit the follow button. Hit subscribe. That's what we do here on the Fantasy Football Fellas. We keep it real with you, tell you what you need to know so you can go out and dominate. All right, last couple questions. We'll go 2 more minutes, and that'll let you guys go set your lineups before, or I should say, you probably started your line or set your lineups before Buffalo and Jacksonville, and I think is there a final on that at all? Nope. Oh, nope, they did. No. Diggs fumbled. Bummer. Wow, Travis Etienne, have a day. Jeez. Calvin Ridley have a day. Christian Kirk had a day. Jeez. Jacksonville really kind of came out and showed out. Should I start AJ Brown, Devontae Smith? AJ Brown. Start both, but yeah. Harold on Facebook, David Montgomery, Tony Pollard. Both. Is there a way you can do both? Because I would do both. In a final from London, Jacksonville takes down Buffalo. Jeez, wow, what a game. But also, again, I'll victory lap this. Said Gabe Davis was my start of the week at wide receiver. 6 receptions, 100 yards, and a tutty. Booyah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, last couple questions. Josh, here's a good one. Pick 2, Zay, D-Hop, or Garrett Wilson. I am going to go D-Hop, Garrett Wilson. D-Hop, Garrett Wilson. Debo, Zay Flowers. I'm going to go Debo. Stroud or Burrow. You're going to go CJ Stroud. Over on YouTube, Pickens, Breece Hall, or Pacheco. Pick 2. I'm going to go Breece Hall and Isaiah Pacheco. Tua or Lamar. Lamar. And one last one on YouTube. I answered that one already. Last one. There it is. Goddard or Zach Ertz. I'm going to go Zach Ertz on that one. Sounds weird, but I'm going to go Zach Ertz. Last couple ones on TikTok. Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs. You go Josh Jacobs on that one. Kittle or Goddard. Probably go Kittle still. Ertz or Waller, you're going to go Zach Ertz. Chuba Hubbard, Jalen Warren, you're going to go Jalen Warren on that one. Olave hurt? No, he is not hurt, but Derek Carr is hurt, and his shoulder injury is severely impacting the ceiling of his weapons. Kirk Cousins, CJ Stroud. I think you go Kirk Cousins, Brandon Ayuk, or Devontae Smith. I'm going to go with Devontae Smith. Jordan Love or Lamar Jackson? Probably Lamar Jackson. What about Jake Ferguson? I can understand why. You could probably do Jake Ferguson over Hayden Hurst. I know that Hayden Hurst just has the right fantasy matchup because Detroit just gives up fantasy points to tight ends like no tomorrow, but that's my opinion. One last one from Facebook. Jacob, Michael Wilson, Jalen Waddle. You're going to go Jalen Waddle on that one. Who Dat Nation? Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Should I keep Musgrave at tight end or trade for one? I would trade for one. And last one on YouTube. TikTok. Aaron Jones, Gus Edwards. You're going to go with Aaron Jones. All right, y'all. Go set your lineups. Go get these all right. Rashee Rice, Josh Reynolds, Cortland Sutton. I would start Josh Reynolds, flex, Cortland Sutton. All right. Go set your lineups, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Just a reminder, Akers or JT, Cam Akers. Just a reminder over on, let's see, booyah. New customers over on Underdog. Use the code fellas and you get a free square of Tua Tagovailoa, half a total yard. It's that easy. It's that easy. And you get up to $100 in bonus money to play with. Why would you not? Why would you not? So go set your lineups. Go check out Underdog Fantasy. Use the code fellas, and you get this plus free money to play with. Have a great week 5, y'all. Hopefully, y'all got a good start with the Bears. Got a good start with the Jaguars. Travis Etienne, hello. Calvin Ridley, hello. Or the Bills. Josh Allen, hello. Stephon Diggs, hello. Gabe Davis, hello. Hopefully, this is going to be a good week for y'all. So go get your lineup set before kickoff. We will be back next week on this live on YouTube and on Facebook and on TikTok. But you will also see us with our podcast that comes out on Tuesday. I will be back on YouTube with our top 10 waiver ads after this week. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following us to get all of those videos to help build the best team possible. So thanks again for tuning in. We will see you all next week. Good luck this week. Deuces.